Hello, and welcome back to my Fusion 360 tutorial series. My name is Nathan Morris, and we are going through Autodesk Fusion 360, a power guide for beginners and intermediate users by CADArtifex. Today we are in Chapter 9, Tutorial 2. This thing is like a fan, maybe it looks kind of like it could be a computer case fan or something along those lines. It's not got a whole lot of strength to it, so something small. But it has some symmetry, some rotational symmetry. So we're going to use the circular pattern tool today, like we did in the last tutorial. And you'll actually see an example where this would be impossible to do in the sketch. So we'll be doing all of these circular patterns in the solid modeling tab. So anyway, jumping into it, we will go ahead and save our file first thing. So chapter 9, tutorial 2, and then get started. So we'll create a sketch on this top plane, and that is two circles. So one is 145 millimeters, and another is 160 millimeters. Hopefully all of these things by now are super easy to do these sketch objects. But if you need more information, go back to one of my previous videos. I kind of walk through how to do a lot of these steps a little more. So we'll hit finish sketch and hit E to extrude just this area. Now, if I was to go this distance, so it is 50 millimeters. Oh, I hit enter there too fast. If I was to go 50 millimeters and then hit enter, that would put the origin plane on the bottom of this cylinder. But later on, I want to reference kind of the center of this. And so I'm going to change this to, instead of extruding one side, I'm going to extrude it symmetrically about the origin. And then I'm going to do the measurement as the whole length. And so now you can see that my origin plane is right in the middle of this shape. And that'll just be handy later when we go to draw some sketches and use the origin as a reference. So we've created that cylinder. It's 50 millimeters high. We extruded it symmetrically. And now we're going to start drawing the little top ring, or the little part that goes inside this. So I'm going to do a sketch on this top face of that profile, and then create a circle. This inner circle is going to be 40 millimeters, and then we just want to go to here. So I could draw a new circle that's 145 millimeters, or I can hit P to project. It's also in the create drop-down menu. Project, include, project. So I'm going to select that circle and project it. If you, in your settings, in your preferences rather, had under design auto project edges on reference, well, I already have that selected, but if you had it auto projecting geometry on active sketch plane, you wouldn't have to project that, but if you don't, then you need to manually project it. So hit P and then select that. So I finished that sketch, and now I'm going to extrude this area, but I don't want it to be extruded like right flush with this top face. I could have done an offset plane from that top face, but this is a handy little tool inside the extrude. Instead of start, I can select offset as an option here. Let me move that so you can see this menu. So right here I can click offset, and I'm going to offset -12 millimeters. And then that's going to start that down lower, and then extrude this 5 millimeters. So that left this little lip here by offsetting it from the original start plane. So that was really handy, and that's what the book suggests to do there. So you could, again, you could have created an offset plane from this top face and then gone down 12 millimeters and then based your sketch on that plane, but this is a quick and easy way to do that. So now we're going to create another sketch on this inner face, and we're going to draw a construction line. So I hit the L hotkey to get the line, and then X to change it to a construction line. And I'll bring the line up somewhere here. Hit X again to make it not construction, and C for circle, and then draw that circle. So that is 6 millimeters. And then D for dimension, I'm gonna dimension from that center point to that center point. That is supposed to be 28 millimeters. So with that, I could do a circular pattern around here, but instead we're gonna do it in the solid tab, solid modeling tab. So I'm gonna finish the sketch, extrude it first, and for extent type, I'm gonna do all and flip it so it goes through this entire piece here, and then hit OK. It automatically defaulted to cutting out. And now I'm going to do the circular pattern to this hole. So the book shows that instead of selecting features, which is the way I've done it in the past, I've done features and then selected this. You can also select it in the graphical area with features, but you can also do faces. And so maybe if that was created through like more complicated geometry, it wasn't one simple extrude, maybe you'd extruded twice or had different things going on, you could actually select the inner face of this cylinder and then select the axis, and that will do the same thing. So for the axis, you can select anything round. You can select this face, you can select this circle, as long as the center axis is in the middle, or you can even select this axis. All of those work the same way. So we want 8 of these, I believe. Let me double check that. Yes, 8. 8, and then hit OK, and now you have 8 holes in the center of that. Maybe that's a bolt pattern. So we are going to go ahead and do the fan fins now. So I'm going to create a sketch, or actually I'm going to create an offset plane first, and I'm going to offset it from this right plane. So that is, let me double check on that dimension. Offset plane of 200 millimeters. So this would be a way to do this where you could create a plane. Maybe you know that your overall fan radius is going to be 200 millimeters. Since this cylinder was all oriented around the origin, which is the best practice, you can just offset from that origin plane, come out 200 millimeters. Now I know that the outer edge of this fan blade is going to be right there, 200 millimeter radius from the center. So I'm going to create a sketch on this plane, and now I'm looking, and you can see that the origin is now centered too, since we did that symmetric extrude. So I'm going to reference that as I draw. First I'm going to do a construction line upward, and it just needs to go up above that. I'm not sure why it projected something there. All right, so it should go up vertically there. Again, I probably shouldn't have auto project edges on reference turned on. So anyway, draw a construction sketch or line there, and then we are going to do some curves. So I'm going to do the arc, center point arc, and this arc is supposed to be centered on the origin. So that's where it's handy to do the origin, have the origin in the center with that symmetrical extrude. I probably should have made this not a construction line curve, but I'll change that afterward. So I'll go ahead and just add that curve roughly where it needs to be. So I'll hit escape, select that, and then make it not a construction line anymore. Lights on behind me. So now I have that curve, and then I need a line coming down, and this is going to meet that bottom edge. And this needs to be tangent to that curve. Oh, it already is. And then it should be 45 millimeters long. this should be a radius of 25. Okay, it is automatically because of the center being on the origin. This is 50 millimeters tall, so that's got to be 25. And then I'm going to create an offset from this line. I could have individually drawn these. It doesn't really tell me how to do it in the book, so I'm just going to do it this way. So I'm using the offset tool right here. You can hit O hotkey, select those lines. Chain selection is on, so it's selected both the curve and the line. And then now I'm going to go 2 millimeters. So right here, I need to draw a line from here up to here, and that completes that shape. And then this, actually, I need to bring this line back up a little bit, and I'll use the line tool and drag from there to make a curve. This radius needs to be 5 millimeters, and then I have that shape all locked in. So I'll hit finish sketch, and I'm going to extrude that shape that I just did. Now, this extent type is going to be to object, and for the object, I'm going to select this outer face of this cylinder. And it is going to body, not through body. If I'd selected through body, it'd want to go all the way through. I just want to do to body, and I don't want to do to adjacent faces. I don't want to just do to selected face. So with that, I can hit OK, and now I have my first fan blade. So it's kind of interesting how they chose to align it. To me, it feels like the center of the blade should have been lined up here, but that's all right. They're demonstrating how to use these tools. Maybe they have a reason for it. So now we're going to go to the Create drop-down menu, and we're going to go to Pattern, Circular Pattern. And this is an example of a way that we would have to do a solid body circular pattern here. There's no way we could have done this within our sketch, because our sketch was perpendicular to that plane, and we would have had to like make duplicate sketches. It would have been a pain. So this is a much easier way to do it. For this, we're going to do features, I believe. Let me double check if they don't want us to do it another way, but that's the way I would do it. So yep, we're going to select features. We can even just click on that shape or select it down in the timeline. And then for the axis, again, anything round that's centered on the origin plane. And now you can see it is looking right. So we want 8 fins as well. And this all looks good. However, from experience, if I hit OK right here, it sometimes works right and sometimes doesn't. Apparently it worked fine this time, but I tried this earlier and it was wanting to flip 4 of these fins. 4 of them went right just around the outside and 4 of them flipped. But one way I did find to fix that is changing the compute type from adjust to identical. So what adjust does is it copies your constraints through to every copy of the pattern, the circular pattern. And identical, it doesn't copy the constraints, it just copies the object. And so it doesn't like try and adjust things based on how they're related to other things. So anyway, if you're running into an issue where it's wanting to clip through this, if you're following along, you could try and select identical instead, and then it won't get, you know, smart and try and turn some of them or whatever. It just makes identical copies. So either way is working for me right now, but if you run into issues, you could try changing that option. So with that, we are finished. I'm going to go ahead and hit save, and I will sign off and see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.